gents. Thank you. Around the room, please. Right, well, welcome to Titans Tuesday number 373. Tonight, we are very honoured, as always, to have, from the Titans Community Foundation, Lindsay Jones. We've got Tony, but he's no idea, okay? Right? But, thank you. But obviously, the star turn of the day, who we have retained, or he said he will carry on for the coming season, Mr. Harvey Bijan. As always, ladies and gents, welcome. Bars there. As always, ladies and gents, if you've got any questions, don't be shy to shout out, because my head is full of nothing at the present. So I'm going to hand you over to a man who I know can ask questions, Mr. Tony Jenkinson. One, two.
Thanks as always for coming out, we really appreciate it, as always. Eyeline UK now to see what was going off. Seriously. You've got to be flexible at Rob, aren't you? There's a lot going off at the club, much hopefully we can tell you. Without further ado, I think a lot of people know there's stuff happening that side of the ground. And no better person just to bring us up to date with events than Lindsay. So, Lindsay, off you go, please.
Right then, answering some questions that Martin started with. Cricket sight screens. Yes, we've helped fund them. Foundation got the bid in for that, so they've all been paid for by the foundation. Because we're working with the cricket club, because they haven't got any sort of infrastructure to raise money, work with kids, and so on. So we do have people out at the moment teaching cricket. Our old friend Alex Dolly is doing quite a lot of work for us with the cricket. Anchor Cullen over there is learning how to coach cricket. So that's another string to his bow. The cricket need kids, just like we need kids. And we have got a programme in place, hopefully starting over the summer, where there are going to be rugby kids on one side, cricket kids on the other, and probably something crazy going off in the middle. But that's just part of it. The other side of it is the white building, which Martin again said should have been demolished by now, and yes, it should. We have been awarded the money. We can't get that money out from the funders because there is a whole new layer of quality assurance. Interesting people keep coming up and wanting to check on what we're doing. This morning, I still haven't got a date for that building to be started. Tonight, we have a date. So from Friday, the cabins will arrive, that end will be blocked off, all the materials will start arriving. The asbestos is going the week beginning, I think, the 17th, and as soon as that's gone, the whole thing will disappear. Groundworks will probably take 4 weeks, unless there's something horrible underneath that concrete slab. And then once the groundworks are done, the building will take approximately 3 weeks to put up. So the time scale for the fit out and all the rest of it, we're still looking later than we'd hoped. It's going to be into September, October. And we've still got bids going out there to try and get, for example, ground source heat pump, solar. If we can get them in through bids, then we save a bit more cash and there's more money for fitting it out, because it comes with nothing. We don't get tables, chairs, anything like that. So bless her, Julie and Carol, two of the trustees, are working on a bid for that as well. And then we come to the pavilion, which is looking battered. And thank you to Richard and lots of other people who have basically demolished stuff all over the place.
Big owl.
And gents.
If you walk around inside it, I do keep taking photos because it has been a complete transformation. Top floor will be changing rooms for home teams, bottom floor will be changing rooms for away. Not quite as nice as the top floor. There will be offices, medical stuff in there, and again, there are, I think, 2 bids pending that I'm working on at the moment to get that funded as much as possible. And we'll see where we go. So that's the building side of it. On the playing side for the foundation, Harvey has persuaded me to take on some nice, interesting people. Cullen being one of them. Another one will arrive on the 1st of July. And another one we're discussing today could be, I don't know when. So I will have a team of 5 next year, and if I can get any more money, I'm sure he'll give me another one. So we're working very closely to try and get players who can coach and players who can work in the community, youth work, all the rest of it. It's fun at times, and other times it's not. But on Friday I went to Bridlington with Julie, and we went to look at the building that Pat, our builder, has just signed off over there. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's lovely. If ours is half as nice, we'll be well pleased.
Yeah, it's just a stunning building, and they had nothing but praise for the builder and the site manager. You'll get to know them all, and all I can say is every single company that is working on this build has already committed to be grand sponsors next year.
Can I just add a couple of things very quickly? Lindsay was saying it in jest there around, she's been able to support me about bringing some players in to be part of the squad. Well, there's a couple of things there. Firstly, I think it's really important that our first team players get out in the community, okay, and who they represent and what they represent. So I think having that opportunity to do that is brilliant. I think all the hard work that's done through the foundation is something that if the likes of Lindsay and people like that weren't working at it, we'd be losing it. And I think I see this space with the excitement in the new building growing and getting better, and I'd like to see that relationship as ours is growing just get stronger and stronger as the season and the years go by.
Yeah.
So we'll try and think of a few questions to ask Harvey now. Thank you, Lindsay, for staying with us. If there's any questions while we're going along, don't wait till the end. Stick your hand up, shout out. We'll try and address things as and when if they come up. Harvey, just relentless, isn't it? Just never stops. Where we start?
Are you better yet?
Oh, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. All good, but thank you for asking. Staffing. Let's think about staffing. Things are moving quickly. Anything to say in terms of your backroom staff at the moment?
Good question. First up to you. Thank you. Deep in, straight in. Okay. I'm not sure if this is public knowledge yet, but Gareth Lewis will not be with us moving forward next season. Okay. He absolutely really enjoyed and loved his time with us. I think he came in at a difficult time, and I can only commend him for parking ego and everything else and just wanting to support and take the team forward. So I can only speak highly of him. He's not going to be far away. He has now become part of the Rotherham family and part of all of you and us together. And I think just with what's going on with his school, his life commitments, his children, everything else, he just is not in a position to commit moving forward. So that's the first bit of news. Before you ask the question, I'm not going to announce who's going to be supporting me tonight. That will come in the coming weeks. Yeah, but I think there's a balance to be had there. I think there'll be 2 support staff coming in to support me. One we will only confirm through the back end of August, and the other one next week. But I'd like to think there's some youth and enthusiasm and a real commitment from them to want to continue to take the club forward.
Yeah, if Gaz Lewis ends up seeing this video, thanks for everything, Gaz. I know the start we had 2 years ago at Huddersfield when we nearly came to blows, but we've become good friends, and I definitely wish you well. Good luck, mate. So, Harvey, the dust is just about finally settling on an amazing season that culminated with promotion, which we can all obviously remember. And now to just settle, what next for Rob? Where's your planning?
Firstly, what a promotion! Eh? I think being part of any promotion is something special, and I think I said it in one of my interviews. It's a little bit fairy tale, centenary year, promotion, all those things coming together. But I'll take you a little bit back, so behind the scenes. I think when I arrived, everyone was talking about Leeds. I remember doing a similar event, and everyone was talking about Leeds, and I was just like, "Hold on, guys, we've got to pull the handbrake up and focus on ourselves." And I think it was the 3rd game after my arrival that we went to Leeds, and I saw 2 different contrasting teams, and I did believe we had the ability to beat them, but I did think we had a huge challenge ahead of us, and we really need to focus on ourselves. And without going into the detail, the numbers tell the story for me. I'm not a numbers man, but from a stats point of view, discipline, tries conceded, tries scored, all those things, you could see the work that we're putting in across rugby, conditioning, all those things were starting to pay off. And I remember going through some of the press that was coming out, and Zach Poole was great because he loves his interviews, okay? And the first 4 or 5 weeks, all he spoke about was Leeds, and we're looking forward to this, and we're looking forward to that. And then suddenly, I don't know if anyone noticed, but through the press, we stopped talking about Leeds and we started talking about ourselves and what we needed to focus on in the next challenge in this week, and being right here, present in this moment. And and I think then when the opportunity presented itself, and we're all in this room and everyone was jumping up and down, it was becoming a reality. But that would never have happened had we not focused on ourselves and got that right. And I think the team made tremendous improvements. I also, looking at where the squad was when I arrived, even at Christmas, I've got to word this right because it's not going to come out right. I always believed we could do it, but my rugby brain was telling me it might just be a step too far. So from a planning perspective, I was going, okay, National 2 next season, there's a big opportunity for us to build continuity. This is how we operate, this is how we do things around here, and build a team environment that was then going to really go through emotion, state that, and then hit National 1 ground running with an established squad. However, we've now made the jump, we're in National 1, and we need to address the challenges that are going to come. Now, a lot of people will say we're 12 months away from the championship, but at the same time, there's probably a bigger, better strategy behind that, as how we want to potentially stabilise, grow, and then challenge depending on what the RFU decide around the league structures and what everything looks like, income streams and all this. I'm not going to get caught up with all of that. So what I think next season is one that's exciting because we're going to be challenged each week. I think there's going to be teams again for myself that I've never been to. And it's going to be great being part of and going to challenge amongst the rugby community, which is going to be exciting. And and then finally make sure we can enjoy each game, win or lose, with all of you.
We do.
Just before we move away from the promotion season, Harvey, while I've got you, were there any particular standout highlights from when you came in that will stick in the memory, or games that you found crucial to the eventual outcome? Little nuggets that you can share with us that you remember?
Probably 3 moments. 2 good, 1 frustration. That probably not many of you would know, would probably recognise. First one being second game, I think, was went away to Hull Ionians. We were just up, I think it was only 2 or 3 points, or they were up 2 or 3 points just before half time. And we had been defending on the line for a prolonged period of time. We had 2 or 3 scrums that I felt were dominant, but we weren't getting reward. And there's a moment in the far right-hand touchline where one of the Ionians' big players, the second row minute, had an opportunity to go for the try line, and JB, one of our players, got in. Joe Macon got in and was able to rip the ball off him. And I think that just killed their momentum and energy. And it gave us the opportunity to go in to half time, flick that emotional switch and come out in the second half. Because I think if we'd not had that moment, I think it was going to be a tough afternoon for the next 20, 30 minutes. And then it becomes an arm wrestle that can go either way. The frustrating one was the Leeds home game. What a brilliant first half. We're 3 scores up, they've scored 1, and we get a penalty just around the 10-metre line, 10 and 15. And at that stage, I wanted us to be brave. I wanted us to go for the corner. I wanted us to go for the bonus point before half time. And we made the decision to go for goal. Now, it would have been a great decision if he got it over, but he didn't. But I just felt at that moment, the team needed to mature and recognise I felt they were probably at a breaking point. And if we had had that score, there was nowhere for them to go. Their game changes, everything they do. And I think that was a big moment. Now, we were lucky enough to get away with it, and we deserved the win. I actually felt we were dominant, never mind what the score said. And it also recognised through that frustration how the team adapted and problem solved through adversity. We're down to 14, we're down to 13, we're down to 14. Down to 14, we went and scored a try. Those moments, that adversity, that's when you know a team is coming together. I think it may sound a bit cheesy or philosophical, but I remember being in the dressing room before, and I said to the team before they went out, I said, there's one team that wants to play the beautiful game, okay, which was Leeds, and there was us, who was a little bit more pragmatic, okay, but there was one team that I knew I'd want to be in the trenches with each week and go to war with, and the other one that I didn't. And I think the team that wanted to go to war on the day is the one that came through the victors. And then the next moment, which was a big moment, haven't really spoken about, but was the Sheffield Tigers game, with the anxiety going to the game because we had to win that game to make sure we could go away on the last day of the season. And you talk about resilience, you talk about teamwork, all those things. We lost our captain in the first 2 minutes, okay? We had a front row playing in the second row, so we had to adapt and problem solve. And then if you watch, now I know they scored in the last minute of half time, but if you watch 4 or 5 of those defensive sets in the Tigers game, you know, when a team's defending for 2.5, 3 minutes, 3:20, that is a long time to defend. And the fact that we could hold them out in those moments when they were throwing everything at us, that filled me with confidence. And then I think you saw the team come out through the second half. But those are probably three moments that were big ones for me, outside the obvious wins.
Yeah, thanks for that, Harvey. Hell of a season. But as always, the world keeps turning, the wheels keep rotating, and it's what next. So, National 1, it's going to be a huge challenge. As always, difficult time of year with recruitment, retention. Perhaps don't want to give too much away in the over the next few weeks. There's a series of title choosers where hopefully boys are going to come in and get introduced. But can you tell us where you are, what the challenges are, and going into National 1, where you think you might be at the moment?
Yeah, firstly, I think from a retention point of view, I think always disappointing is not the word, upsetting is not the word. You don't like to lose players from a team that's won promotion. I think continuity is important. But unfortunately, we've lost some key players like Harry Dunn and a few different guys that are making decisions to not continue International 1. But on the whole, from a retention point of view, I feel we've kept a real good core of the squad together, and I think that core will be challenged from a cultural perspective, and how we want to continue to make this a positive place to be, especially with the challenges that will come with National 1. Recruitment has its ups and downs. There's some bits I'm really excited about, and other bits where I'm disappointed probably a few players haven't got over the line. But I think we're at that tipping point in the next 2 weeks tells, because there's a couple of signings that if we get over the line, I think we will be really exciting. But at the same time, we're in a place where we've gone out with a clear vision around our recruitment policy. Yes, we'll have a couple of senior players dotted in, but we're also looking at young players with the raw materials that we want to coach, that want to play for Rotherham and want to go on this journey with Rotherham. I think this isn't we've been promoted to National 1 and that's us. I think there's a desire at the club that we want to be in the second tier of English rugby, whatever that looks like, whether it's called the Championship, Premier 2, whatever the funding streams and all those things look like. But it's not going to be an immediate thing. I think what we need to do is build a core of young players that want to be part of this family, that'll grow with us, they'll develop themselves, and we will see them grow, and we'll see them go on this journey with us as Rotherham take progressive steps over the coming 6, 12, 18, 24, 36 months.
Yeah, thanks for that, Harvey. Tony, got a question?
Yeah, on that, Harvey, one of the difficulties about moving from National 2 to National 1 is players not wanting to commit if they have families or the travel and all the rest of it. The idea of getting younger players, perhaps with less baggage or can commit more, I think it's a cracking idea.
Yeah, thank you. Again, it's lots of people have responsibilities as they have different work commitments. And our model at the moment is a semi-professional model. It's not a full-time model. So everyone's got different responsibilities, and life throws you lots of curveballs. So the thing is, I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think your guys' support to any new players that arrive makes a massive difference. I don't think you realise how well received your support goes down with the players, and I think that's a huge selling point for myself. And I think that's what I mean. If those young players, 18, 19, 20, 21, think about that squad. If we can keep them together when they're hitting 3 years' time, when they're 23, 24, 25, starting to develop as men, starting to having played rugby, played games, being well coached at a good club. I think I think that'll make the difference.
Sunday, please.
Harvey, you said earlier on about the Leeds match and the Leeds team, about them being playing a beautiful game and wearing trenches, this and all that. and it's been over the past two seasons where we're playing exceptional club rugby, and it's proved to be profitable because we've won it. Do you think that the team has to play with certain other finesses as they progress through, rather than just basic club rugby?
Firstly, I'll come back to you. We had to find a way to play winning rugby, so we had to play to our super strengths. Okay, so we found an efficient way to do that, and I think the team excelled at that. Does our game need to evolve and develop? 100%. We cannot stand still. We need to be making improvements in all areas, and I think I'd like to think that that we can keep those key fundamentals of what we've seen in our group around certain areas of the game, the set piece, etc., but begin to create more opportunity, but more importantly, learn how to problem solve and adapt at crucial times, because we've still got to win rugby games. So we've got to find that balance, and that's where our rugby IQ and our maturity will see that develop over the coming seasons. If we're going to put young rugby players on the field, we're going to see that error when they're 5 meters from the try line, and it's going to frustrate us and it's going to hurt us because we've not won the game. But when that player is in that same situation 18 months down the line, and it's a crucial moment and the pressure's on, he would have learned from that situation. That's when we're going to nail it.
Yeah.
Harvey.
One sec. Sorry. Go.
Just Sandy, yes.
As we go along, as we're progressing, we've got a backroom staff, or you've got new backroom staff, and yourself who are leading these lads onto the pitch. But while they're on pitch, because rugby is such a fluid game, unlike the other game, which Ramball, which I'll not mention, cricket. Do you think that with your guidance, the lads that have come through these last 2 seasons will be able to adapt to be leaders at the higher level? Because they've got to make them decisions on the pitch.
Yeah, I think so, but I think that replicates our training.
Yeah.
I think training's huge. The game is chaos for vast majority of it, and I think the more we can create those scenarios of training, the better for our players and the better decisions they will make. And I think that told this season with the amount of intensity we brought to training, what that looked like. And that's part of the way our pre-season will be planned this season. It's not going to be the traditional run and run and run. It's going to be rugby ball in hand from day one, and let's start getting used to making those rugby decisions, being comfortable making those rugby decisions.
Yeah. That again will come back to yourself and your backroom staff analysing the new ground that we're going to be treading with the teams in National 1.
And some of the time, no one said it's going to be easy. I mean, we can't expect to just bulldoze through. I think there's so many different perspectives to this. It's the resilience that the players are going to have to show through the season. It's going to be understanding different moments, different scenarios, different situations, and being able to take those key disappointing moments and make them learning moments.
Martin?
I know they've not been announced, the pre-season games. Would you like to announce them tonight? The vast majority of people are half aware, if you wish.
I'm
allowed to say that?
I'm happy to go. Yeah. So our first game here is going to be a home game against Leeds. Okay. On a Friday night. Our second game is going to be away to Guernsey. and our last game is going to be Durham University here. Again, Friday night, yeah. So Friday, Saturday, Friday. I think it's the 16th, the 24th, or the 17th, the 24th, and the 30th.
So on that score, as we've had pre-season friendlies before, do you advocate for a full squad out there, a complete rotation, fielding two teams or splitting groups up? Exactly.
Oh no, I want to play the game like the game is played. So 80 minutes of rugby.
It'll be straight at 40-40 with changes. as
Yeah,
and when.
so I'll have a look. I'll have a look at that close to the time as where we are with regards to injury, form, effort, attitude, all those things. I think it's fair. We've got to keep in mind that it's still pre-season. We've got to keep in mind that we're preparing the squad for the league campaign, and the squad is going to have to understand that although everyone may deserve a start, sometimes being rotated out of the position means you're going to be ready for a bigger picture plan down the line. And that'll all start with the planning through pre-season.
And to confirm, when does training start?
Okay, so pre-season is going to start the last week of June, and we're going to run a 4-week block. Our pre-season is going to run Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I spoke to the players, and the players gave me some real good feedback. They said during the season we lose 26 weekends, and then you put another 8 or 9 or 10 weeks onto that, they're losing that Saturday if we train on a Saturday in pre-season. So give them the opportunity to be with their families, enjoy the summer. To be honest too, weather will be good Friday nights, where the players are going to be. We want to make max effort out of them on a Saturday morning, so it might not be the smartest idea. But in short, like I said before, I want a rugby ball in hand from day one. So it's going to be rugby on a Tuesday, it's going to be units on a Wednesday, and it's probably going to be a little bit of a combination of both on a Thursday. So in essence, that is 12 rugby sessions and 6 unit sessions. So those 6 unit sessions, I'd like to see the forwards getting the detail around scrum, line out, maul, set piece sorted, and backs, I'd like to see speed, skill, decision making on a different component, and then I want to obviously pull all of that together. So we'll run 4 weeks on, a week off, 2 more weeks of the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we go into the game program when it'll be 2 nights a week and game on the weekend.
Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
That was my next question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's a while since I've been to Rotherham, and I'm really encouraged by what I've heard tonight, and you have my full-hearted support in terms of what you're seeking to achieve. Because as I look through that window there, I can remember where there was a stand built there, and the team that were playing that day was Leicester. And I can also remember when I first started watching Rotherham was when they were, I think, North East Counties, something like that. So I go back a long time. But my question is more general, really, having played rugby union and also rugby league as well. I'm really concerned at the moment about you related to this. What's the name of the championship? It's about the governance of rugby. And it really disturbs me that we don't even know who the members of the RFU are. It's not transparent. They won't even release the names, etc. And what I was interested in particularly is how much input that Rotherham as a rugby club has got in, to try and sway these people that are making, and then the question of change of rules and what have you. I think the game is being spoilt at the moment, and that worries me, because I was encouraged to play rugby. Rugby is the game for me and what have you, but I wonder about younger people in what they're seeing, and sometimes I think it's much more dangerous, the game, than what it used to be as well. But from a governance perspective, I'm interested in what your views are and how much input you can possibly, a la Doncaster at the moment, I suppose, who are challenging, I think, aren't they?
2 or 3 different aspects to that. First thing, it's a collision sport, and we've got to get our heads around that. And there will be rugby incidents on the field where it is what it is, without trying to be really disrespectful or for want of a different phrase. but we won't advocate foul play and all those type of things. Okay, so but it is a collision sport, and we need to embrace that. With regards to everything going on in the RFU, full stop, because I wouldn't know which direction to go into, and we'd just be talking in circles all night, because they can't give us direction, I can't give you an answer, and we'll just go round and round. TJ does sit on the National League's not forums, what are they?
The Zoom meetings.
Yeah, the panels and the meetings and everything else. I used to sit on the CCC meetings, which are the Championship Chairman's Committee, I think it is, and watch this space. The scary thing here is there is a real opportunity to get this right. I hope they do.
I'll just come in on that in terms of governance and what effect we rob them off in steering anything on there. It literally is zero. So we're part of the National League, the old NCA, which is now National League Rugby. They've got a small representation, but speaking to the board of directors at that level, they're extremely frustrated that no one seems to be listening to them. We have no influence. I understand there's a RFU council meeting this Saturday. It could go into Sunday morning. They're trying to get the top end of the game sorted out, and eventually we'll get some crumbs down and we'll find out what's going on. But yeah, we have zero input into any change. Tony, yes.
Harvey, going on about things that we can't control, you're very focused on what we can control. The standard of refereeing in National 2 North wasn't great. I know you've had several interesting conversations with referees, particularly after the Leeds game up there. But National 1, we would expect it maybe to be a little bit better, but how frustrating is it when you've coached and controlled what you can, but then it's taken out of our hands?
I think it's a real interesting question, because I think we need to thank referees for how hard they work, okay, and we desperately need referees. But what I did observe in National 2 was when I went to approach a referee after the game, for me it was an opportunity to share moments in the game where I could learn or feedback to our players, or potentially the referee had an opportunity to discuss a difficult decision. And I've got to commend, there was probably 2 or 3 referees that embraced that, okay? Whether it was sending them a little bit of footage so they could review, some would give their opinion, some would put their hand up and some, oh yeah, I see it now, didn't see it in the moment. But in real terms, when I initially started to approach referees afterwards, straight away the referees were on the defensive. I don't feel the referees are there to justify their decisions, and they will make mistakes. So it took a long time to try and find that moment where we could have that rugby discussion, because we can't change the outcome. As much as it's emotional in the game and straight afterwards, by the time you've had a shower and had a beer, you're not there to vent. You're there to make sure if there's a situation that's happened on the pitch that weekend, if that same situation is going to be there in the coming weeks, we know how to manage and handle that. The same way we worked really hard on how we communicate with the referees, how we ask questions, and how we could take, this was a crucial one, don't give us white noise, give us specific information. So that is, your tackler has to roll away and I won't penalise. Find that specific. That means I can go in half time and my message to the players is to address this issue, is to roll away from the tackle area. If you don't, it's not the referee's fault, it's yours, because you've been given specific instruction. Okay? It could be your players need to be on the back foot. Okay, half-time message, because we don't want to slow the game down. We don't want the game to be full of penalties. Okay, let's everyone take a step back foot. You know, if he gets one wrong at the scrum, you know, it's going to happen. If we miss a forward pass, it's going to happen. Okay, going back to scrum though, but if he can say, I feel your loose head doesn't have his elbow up or he's not binding, great, it gives me a coaching point so we don't have to have a negative game. We want a positive game. So let's have that dialogue rather than not.
Is it frustrating sometimes when the touch judges referee the game as much as the referee?
That camera's still on.
Two-part question was, apart from when you were saying that you'd like to ask the referees information and feedback, is that the same with the ARs? And if they have a fourth official, a referee watching the referee, are you able to communicate with them as well?
After the game, I've tried to, and on the whole, it's been reasonably positive. It's taken a little while. Like I said, there was 2 or 3 guys that were really receptive, and they will be the guys that go on, because that's where they're going to get their growth, having those rugby discussions. Yes, we get it, but not enough.
Did you find that you got the same referees or same ARs, that you could, once they got to know you maybe through the season, that you could have better discussions?
There were definitely a few. I made an effort to find some learning moments and send them in. Never something where I was trying to point out, oh, you got that wrong. I was going, this is a difficult situation to referee. How would you like us to approach it? What are your messages here? So I don't think it's complicated, to be honest. I just think people need to just be a little bit more relaxed, composed, and have the conversation.
Can you do the same thing going forward in National 1?
I'd hope so. I think I need, when it comes to referees, I'm going to also put it on you a bit. I think the supporters could really help us out. I think we need to somehow. I think I've got to be careful there, because I think the supporters need to intimidate the opposition. They need to intimidate them. You need to hear them. You need to feel them. Let's just make sure we never make it personal.
But passion's good, isn't it?
Passion, 100%.
Can I just add to that? Thank you. We are insured by All Sport Insurance, the foundation, and that is run by Luke Pearce's dad. Now, Luke Pearce remembers Rotherham fondly, to his dad, and he said it is the most intimidating place any referee comes, because you are so close to the pitch, and he reckons that you lot know what you're talking about, and you certainly let the referee know when he's got it wrong. But perhaps that's something we have to be, these days, very careful about in how we say that.
True.
Hold on, I'll take that back. Let's stay as one-eyed as we possibly can.
But politely.
I think personally, anybody who's played any sport, wherever it is, right, playing the sport and then refereeing the sport, it opens your eyes, because it's not as easy as what it looks, you know, when they do it. It's
I think there's a difference here. I think from a coaching point of view, we coach to the laws. We don't try and push boundaries, because we don't want to create complicated situations. So at the maul, at the scrum, we are trying to be legal. We're trying to coach the laws, and we're trying to assert ourselves, whether that's physical dominance, whether it's better technique, whether it's technical, tactical, whatever that is. So if that's what we're trying to do, let's make sure if there's an area there where we need to coach it better, the referee share it with us.
Would you look at getting a ref to come down and speak with them? Like we did last year, we had Jason came down.
So leading into the Leeds game and the last 3 games, we did speak to a referee to come down, but where we got stuck is that referee could have potentially been appointed to us, within those 3 weeks, so he didn't come into the training session, which I thought was fair.
You hit on players playing by the laws of the game, be it well coached or whatever. What was the penalty count against us as a whole last season? Was it good? Was it bad?
When I arrived, we were averaging 18 penalties a game. The best we then got it down to was 4 in a game, and I think our average at the end of the season was 11 when it should have been under 10.
I'm sure when Jenks always said penalty count, if you don't hit double figures, it's a good game for us. Will you be trying to stipulate that into the players this season coming to always keep it right down? Because usually, like with certain teams, they've got a kicker that'll kick it from anywhere, and all of a sudden we've lost 3 points.
Yeah, I think let's be as smart about it as we possibly can, and let's give the players the awareness that we don't want to give away penalties, but penalties will be given away. We still want certain players to be right on the line.
Obviously, yes.
Without giving you a cliche, the difference is when the referee sets his stall out, let's be smart enough to adapt to that and play with the way he's refereeing, not rather go into ourselves and the little bit of ego and adrenaline and everything else go, no, I'm going to keep doing this. Well, that's not going to benefit the team. So, again, without giving you a cliche, the needs of the team are going to be greater than the needs of the individual. So your turnover count isn't going to be the difference. Yeah, the penalties we don't concede will be the difference for the team.
Just being on borderline, it's good enough. I mean, Richie McCaw was great at it when he was nearly offside or doing something all the time. And that's what it's all about, being on that borderline. And if you get away with it, you get away with it. And that's what we need.
Yeah. Maybe what my tactic should be is whoever gives away the most penalties, I'll make him the captain, because then he's got a little bit of dialogue. So you lose 3 or 4. He loses 3 or 4 of those penalties through the game.
He'll be sat on his arse for 10 minutes though, with the yellow card then.
Say that again.
He'll be sat on his arse for 10 minutes with the yellow card.
Again. You have a question, mate?
Just, yeah, and it'll all be a short answer, I'm sure, and I'll probably leave after it. And I'm sure, because you've got a wealth of experience, we've seen you all over the place and you've done a brilliant job, and I'm sure you're aware about circadian rhythms and sleep patterns with people and this, that, all that. How difficult, which is, and this thing is really frustrating with some fans, how difficult do you think it's going to be for you to get the player's body clock alarm to go off at the same time as referee's first whistle?
It's so true. So
Hold on.
true.
That's a short answer, mate.
Is there any team next year that you would personally want to start with? I want a better word.
I think when I came out of playing and I left Wasps, I was director of coaching at Blackheath, so it's going to be interesting coaching against Blackheath because it was a great club for me and the experience it gave me. For one, I'd only ever known professional rugby, and it was the first time I was put into a semi-pro environment. I learned so much being in that environment before I went back to the professional game. So, like as a player, it's always going to be exciting going back to a club you've been part of.
Yeah. Harvey, sorry. Just a daft one. Which is Blackheath's most famous player, and he's not real?
Dr. Watson.
Ah!
There we go.
Sorry about that, Matt.
Please, Kevin.
You've obviously we've seen the fixture list, and you've got an idea of where we're going, travelling distance-wise, and home games. Do you think it's worked out not too bad, or?
to be honest, everyone made a huge fuss around, National 1, there's travel and everything else. But I only see really 4 or 5 games that are going to be challenges. You know, one's going to be an overnight stay, and that's part and parcel of being a semi-professional rugby player or a rugby player. So at whatever level. Will we need to get our preparation right when travel's a little bit longer sometimes? Absolutely. Will it mess up a few Saturday nights? Probably. But at the same time, there's a whole different side to that. It is where you build your camaraderie when you're on a 2.5 hour coach journey coming back from a game and you're having a few beers and you're singing your songs. It's where the team comes together. So there's positives to that too. And I've no doubt the team will want to be planning a social in Plymouth because that'll be their overnight stay. Do you know what I mean? So you know, there's positives across.
Try not get a punch while they're going down this time.
Yeah, we both did with supporters and team coach last time. We both got punches our way down.
Do you see the start of the season as being very important to get a good momentum going at the back of the season, or is it just quite even out?
No, that's a really good question. So everyone goes, you've got to hit the ground running, you've got to get going. It is a long season, and what I'm really interested in, yes, I want to win each week, so that's obvious. What I want to see is the team grow and improve and get better and better as the season goes. You know, I've experienced that when I first arrived at Jersey, a team that was almost relegated 2 seasons on the bounce. I think our first 8 games, we lost my first season in charge. But we went to bonus point win. We're just staying in the battle, and that then turned into our first 4-pointer, then 5-pointer, and you just want to see that roll and develop as the season goes.
Probably a little longer answer than Sandy's, but a short answer. Kick-off times.
Yeah, as always now we're 2 o'clock on a Saturday for the league. I think the 2 Friday night pre-season fixtures will be around 7:30, which is going to confirm. But yeah, absolutely.
Is there a reason for that, Tony? Why we can't?
Yeah, really. From what I understand is, do you remember a few years ago? I think when Mick Sylvester, or Lord Kronos to some of us, was running this side of the business, and he ring-fenced the home Saturdays so that we could stay in after, but it turned out come about 7:30, the place were empty, so the club made a decision that we would take function bookings on a Saturday evening, stay at 2 o'clock because then it gives staff that hour to turn the room around. Whoever's left at that point, usually Harry's Bar can accommodate them, and most people are happy. Obviously, as Liz has touched on, we're looking at some development that side. This eventually will go into major surgery as well, and we might have a different building inside, and things might change at that point. But yeah, for the short-term foreseeable future, 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, home games.
You can't run a rugby club financially on 13 home games. The other side of it has to come into it, and we have to take the bookings. It's tough if we don't.
Oh, I think we all appreciate it.
So Martin and Swifty's love of Strictly then don't come into it.
Well, your home does. Yeah, you've actually run with just while Lindsay's back in the chair, I think you wanted to say another word.
Just a couple of things financially. We're already being asked about season tickets and things like that. Yet again, to try and raise some more money, we've got a crowdfunder that will go live very quickly. That crowdfunder, please, is going to be match funded probably by Sport England, so that everything that we raise through that, they will double that money. That goes to Martin, pays for season tickets, pays towards the players, but please sign the gift aid thing, because then I get the 25% of what you've contributed.
Yourself?
Is that where was the rabbit match for the last couple of years?
Yes, we
Or
have.
refused on round funder?
Yeah, and the point of that is, over the last 2 or 3 years, because of the gift aid, you lot have raised 18 grand for the foundation, which pays for a player's wages, and that is huge for us. Yeah.
When the gift aid finishes,
Yes.
sometimes we're trying to buy home shirts or new away shirts,
Yeah.
and the gift aid, I think, finished before
Oh,
all
before
shirts
you
could be
buy them.
purchased.
I'll come and talk to you about that one anyway, but yeah.
So we're probably having new home and away kit now.
Yes. Okay.
Is pricing tickets being season tickets prices and match day?
Just
not yet.
wait.
So just to reiterate what Lisa said, anything you would normally buy, whether it be membership, season tickets, sponsorship, it'll all be on the crowdfunding if you could purchase through that, because we get the match. But importantly, tick the gift aid box. It doesn't cost you anything that the club says can claim the gift aid back on that. In terms of season ticket price, I believe there's been no increase for this year. I'm fairly sure on that. Unless you, I think season tickets, memberships, that sort of thing has to.
Soon. It should be. It
Yeah,
should go
we're just
live
waiting
next week.
for something so I can get it up and running. But I do believe they're going to be no price increases. I'm sure.
He's ready to finalise the squad.
Still will, yeah. They're still with Timothy and things like that.
Pete, right. Last season was obviously our centenary season, so we had a centenary shirt. Is it right that we're going to have a Christmas shirt this season?
Probably.
Well, Zach said it we were, so I guess.
Well, it's all right for Zach to say that, but somebody has to take on organising it. Thanks,
Yeah.
Zach. And just a thing about the centenary shirts. The away kit last year was a centenary shirt. They will be available to buy on eBay or bid for, whatever. John and I have just had quite a lot on, but we will get them on as soon as we can, and you will get the chance to get hold of a centenary shirt, apart from number 6, which somehow never quite came back from somebody.
So yes, Steve, you can bring it back. I appreciate it.
Lindsay, sorry, you said whatever we put in is matched by.
I've put something forward to Sport England because
Yeah.
they're one of the people you can pick from a range of people. You have to put a bid in and say, this is what we're doing and this is why it's important. At the moment, that bid's in. I haven't heard from them whether that's been accepted. So if it is, then they will match funders for everything that you put through the crowdfunder. They will match up to £15,000.
Okay. And the 25% gift aid.
Yes.
Comes off, say, my original purchase,
Yes.
not off the total.
Yeah. So if you give me £100, then I will get £25 back off the government for free.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Why is it 25?
25%,
not 20.
25%.
Oh, so it's not that.
No.
It's a different. So I've always tipped it, and other things as well.
Much appreciated.
I thought it was 20%.
And the other one with that is
That's even better.
Squad Builder. Please, if you're going to sign up for it, Mr. Poole is going to promote it through some interesting videos. God help us. Because Squad Builder again pays for the wages for the foundation players to go into schools, and that again raises an enormous amount of money. So thank
If we
you.
contribute now, does it just continue?
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as you keep that standing order going, thank you very much.
That's what I don't get. Sometimes people don't have paid. But I thought you had to set it up with direct
Oh, they don't
debit.
get the money.
No, but I thought when we set them up, they were by direct debit, so how could they not pay?
Because they can't.
Some people just stop them.
Oh, sorry, got you.
Yes,
There's
sir.
a story about refereeing that the Rotherham crowd of my day was responsible for training and developing
one of the finest referees that we've had in this country, Mr. Wayne Barnes, who in his game down here was absolute rubbish. And the crowd were very quick to tell him so. Look where he's got.
Last couple of minutes.
Anyone in New Zealand would agree with you. They'll still say it was a forward pass.
Last couple of questions, please. Yes, Sunday.
Just before, well, we know we're going to finish but going back to what Harvey said about how he felt that the Titans, since his arrival, they've improved, and he's seen these improvements. I'd just like to say that the fans here and the rest that aren't here also saw them improvements, and we appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is the referee who refed us at Luctonians still doing National 1?
My understanding is that referee never refereed again.
Right.
All right.
Hey.
Oh, very good.
Assassination or what?
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, listen, genuinely appreciate everybody coming down, everybody getting involved. Thank you for your questions. Can we just show our appreciation to Harvey and Lincoln?